Look, is Noni Madueke Maresca's man? That seems to be the early indications as we jump into this, another London's Blue podcast, YouTube-specific video. Dan, one of your hosts here. And we're talking about Noni Madueke, the English attacker who is really having a brighter start to this season than he has had in past years at Chelsea. Again, considering the fact that he's been in Chelsea for 3 seasons now, kind of makes him a bit of a seasoned veteran, at least within the Stamford Bridge contingent of players at this juncture of his career. But when we hear the comments that are coming out, and Ben Jacobs has been on the show before, had a few things to say this week, saying that sources indicate that Chelsea, with Jadon Sancho, Noni Madueke, they're both apparently the perfect, quote, profile for Maresca, and they also allow Cole Palmer to play as the advanced number 8 position, which is the favorite position for him in the center of the park. Interesting that this is coming out also on a day earlier. Fabrizio Romano reporting that Noni Madueke was considered a sellable individual this past summer, reinforcing the news that we had heard pretty much the entirety of it, and identifying that it was not just Newcastle who were heavily linked to Noni Madueke throughout the summer transfer window, but also RB Leipzig was another potential landing spot for him. But at some point, Fabrizio Romano indicating that in August, he became an untouchable player for Maresca, for this Chelsea side, and for what was going to happen in this campaign. And again, early days, early minutes for him in this career, in his season right now. But Noni Madueke with 3 goals this season has a very, very bright start. And again, that only came in 1 match. So there is an opportunity for us to maybe take a look and consider, where's he at right now? What is it that is maybe improved this season over last season from a trend line perspective? Where are some opportunities for him to continue to evolve? And what would we hope for as a good or great end to the season for him? And let's start at where he's at this season. So if we take a look at where Chelsea have played so far, he's featured in 3 matches this moment for Chelsea. He's had an opportunity to get involved in the match against Bournemouth, 61 minutes, no goals, no assists, 3 shots, 26 touches. You look at the Premier League match against Crystal Palace, 85 minutes, 3 shots, only a single shot on target. You look at the Conference League match, which I guess we'll add into here too. So it's 4 total matches, 3 Premier League matches, 61 minutes against Servette. That was a 2 shots, 1 shot on target. And then you had the match against Wolves, the 90-minute, the famous Instagram-related comments pre-match. 90 minutes, 3 goals, hat trick, 6 shots, 5 shots on target. Maybe his best senior footballing moment of all time. But taking a look at where that stacks him now for the totality of his time at Chelsea, again, it's 3 seasons. So we have the 2022-23 season, we have the 23-24 season, and the 24-25 season. Noni Madueke featured 12 times in that first season, 7 of those being starts, 643 minutes. Had a single goal and assist combined in that time period. Didn't have necessarily a ton of opportunity to showcase his talents, but got more minutes than some as it relates. The next season stacks appropriately. And again, a lot of that actually came in substitute appearances and opportunities, and really actually came more to the tail end of the season last year rather than the beginning parts in it. Very much on an island with Mauricio Pochettino for the early parts of the season. But he was able to find an opportunity in those 34 matches played, 19 starts, almost 1,600 minutes. He had 8 total goals, 3 assists, so 11 goals and assists, second highest in his senior career. It's 14 for PSV in 2020, 2021. So already there, like we knew that the trend line was good for him there. We talked about during the summer that what we wanted to see from Noni Madueke was a continued evolution this season, stacking on a great end to the campaign last year. Now, we take a look to where he started. Again, 236 minutes in those 3 Premier League matches, 3 goals. And that is a great place to be. But when you start to dig in a little bit deeper into some of the things like shot creating actions and a little bit more about goal creating actions, there's a little bit of an opportunity. And so when you take a look at the fact that in that first Chelsea season, total of 24 shot creating actions. So those are 2 offensive actions that directly lead to a shot, such as a pass, take on, drawing fouls. You can get multiple credits for those. All these stats are available on FBref. When you start to dig into that, that was 3.6. So again, remarkably below some of his best seasons at PSV. I mean, the season before, the one that spurred him into Chelsea, he had 33 total, a 7.69 shot creating action per 90. He took a dip, understandably so, in that first season that limited, 600-ish minutes at Chelsea, 3.36, stepped up in a big way to 51 total shot creating actions, 4.35 per 90. The way he started this season, though, across those couple of games, 6 total shot creating actions, and it does take a little bit of time to build them up. And, if you're getting into the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s for this number, you are trending towards a very rarefied air. 2.3 shot creating actions per 90. So I think what we'll want to see from Noni Madueke, kind of now taking a look at where he's been, what his start to the season is. I mean, he has had a couple big chances, 2 big chances missed total. Goal conversion for him is 25%. There's going to be some opportunity to continue to evolve over the course of this season. Now, what do we want to see from Noni Madueke moving forward? Again, I think it's going to come back to a pretty simple answer in consistency. We've had a chance to see him over 3 matches in the Premier League, the match against Servette, and only in one of those games did he manage more than one shot on target, right? There was the Premier League match against Crystal Palace and the match against Servette, 1 shot on target. 5 of his 7 this season came against that match with Wolves. So how can he take what he did against Wolves, replicate that in the game? And I know not every team is going to be Wolves, not every team is going to allow Chelsea so much opportunity, but it'll be up to him, particularly with a very crowded attacking group at the moment, to see where he can continue to make his impact. And now I do think that some of this can be also pointed to the fact that Chelsea have been playing a little bit of an adapted solution at right back. Clearly, a partnership was developing with Malo Gusto and Noni Madueke on the side, and that does have a knock-on effect when you're going to someone like Axel Disasi, like Wes Fofana, who just doesn't offer the same level of attacking partnership for their compatriot on the right-hand side of the attack. So I do think that's something that if we're looking at Noni Madueke so far, we're pointing out some of the opportunity areas. We take a look at this most recent match against Bournemouth, and we start to point some fingers, and we say, wait a minute, what happened here? Why was this more difficult? You're also seeing Noni Madueke get more attention. And I think figuring out how to combine, to break down, to work around, to work through double team situations, whether that's the partnership with whoever's playing right back with him and advancing forward, or whom his midfield partners or partners are. I mean, we have seen a little bit of that opportunity for how he can connect with Cole Palmer when he's in attack. I think those are all things that seem very, very good as terms of areas for him to work on as we take a look at what comes next for him over the remainder of this season. And now I think lastly, it'd be looking at what would be a good season for Noni Madueke this year and what would be a great season. That's considering the fact that Chelsea do have some really bright attackers. Estefo is the one that comes to mind for most people, lingering out there in the future when we think about, what happens with these attackers? We already have a couple. When we think about Noni Madueke, who we have no idea what his future looks like at Chelsea. But Noni Madueke could put himself in an untouchable position at the end of this season as a experienced Premier League player at that point, heading into next year, four seasons at Chelsea, starting his 4th season in Chelsea. If he can replicate and get beyond where his current Premier League high was, 8 goals, 3 assists, or season rather, 11 total goals and assists, can he get somewhere into that 18 to 20 range across all competitions? I think it would still be on a little bit of a lighter side there, but we do need a few attackers who are going to allow us to round out for what is likely some type of regression for Cole Palmer this season. More on the fact that I don't think, especially if we're getting all these matches refereed by Anthony Taylor, that we will not get necessarily the number of penalties that Cole Palmer needed last season to push his goal total and tally as high as it was. But with all of the attackers, with the number of matches, with rotation, there may not be the amount of minutes we think that he could potentially get over the course of the season. So with the minutes he does get, can he get over 2,000 minutes this year? That would be a huge increase from his best season last year, 1,600 minutes, be 400 additional minutes, be multiple additional matches. That would be a really, really great thing to see for him in his career. Can he get to that 18 to 20 range in terms of goals and assists? Can he continue to improve those shot creating actions that we see? Can he get somewhere close back to either that 4.35 that we saw last season per 90? Can he get somewhere into that 5+ range? That would be great too. So these are things that if we look at Noni Madueke, we say, hey, where has he done and what has he done this season? Really great performance against Wolves. Not necessarily as consistent in the other matches as we'd hope, but still a very, very bright talent, very interesting in terms of the fact that he's still a very young individual when it comes to players. Again, he's barely 22. He's about halfway to 23. There's an opportunity now to say he's got a good start. He's clearly identified by Maresca and the club as a player that they want to contribute. They think he can contribute. They think he can move the needle. They think he can push forward. They kept him versus selling him over other players that they opted to either loan or sell. He has an opportunity this year. So let us know in the comments, what do you think? Is Noni Madueke going to prove himself over the remainder of the season? What would be your expectation for a good or great season for him? Is it somewhere in that 18 to 20 goal and assist range for him, 2,000 plus minutes? Do you have higher aspirations for him? And don't forget to like and subscribe to get more wonderful videos from London's Blue Podcast on this exact channel. And until next time, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high.